What's going on, my people? I have a story for y'all that y'all will find very interesting to hear. It's a story about how I was chilling at a terminal with two owner operators, one white guy, one African, and the conversation, the situation started off calm, cool, and collective. But by the end of this conversation, they were about to fight in this terminal. Story time. So I'm chilling in the terminal. We got one guy comes in, got the white guy comes in. He's like, hey, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what's going on? Chilling, getting my truck worked on or the load or whatever. And the foreign guy, the African, comes in. And he was like, yeah, man, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. We start talking about trucking. You know how the conversations go. So we sitting there chilling, and the conversation went from just random shit to how cheap the freights are right now. Now, the white guy makes a comment, and he did judge the book by its cover. He thought this individual was Black American, and in the real case, the guy was actually African, and he did not really live in America. I guess he was here with a work visa or however that shit works. But we all sitting there chilling, and the white guy makes a comment and says, yeah, we got all these foreigners coming over here, cutting the rates, pulling cheap freight, and they not paying taxes or whatever. Now, what I want you to understand about this story is the fact that there was so many more words in detail about the comment he made. But not to give you any false information, I'm going to just give you the gist of it. He made the comment that the foreigners come over here and they take rates, they cut them in half, and they pull cheap freight, right? And they not paying taxes. That's the gist of what he said that I can give you. Now, the African got upset, and he was like, well, I'm foreign, and I come over here to work, and I feed my family just like you. And the white guy was like, well, I ain't mean no offense, but you see where I'm coming from. Y'all just come over here and y'all don't really pay taxes, and y'all just pull cheap freight. Now, all I can tell you is that now that we started to get deeper into this conversation, my unbiased opinion, because I'm a company driver, I'm looking at both ends of this story. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at both ends of this story, and I see why both individuals are upset. The white guy feeling like foreign people coming over, they getting jobs, they trying to feed their family like everybody else, but they pulling cheap freight. And then you got the Americans, they want to stand up and make the industry pay them what they feel like they worth, and it can't happen if individuals, because I ain't finna say just the foreigners do it, because Americans do it too, but if they come over and they just pull cheap freight because of just the simple fact they need to feed their families. Now, I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, I see both of y'all points. So let's get into this. I ain't stopped the conversation. Let's keep going. So the foreigner makes a comment. He goes, well, I'm trying to feed my family just like you. I don't know why you think it's just us foreigners do it. Americans do it too. I'm like, well, okay, yeah, simple, good point. I'm going point for point. And the foreigner goes, you know what? I come over here, and I guess the white man, the white driver never understood this point that the foreigner finna make. I guess it was like a shocking news to him. The foreigner goes, the freight isn't too cheap to me because my money doubles. And I'm like, what do you mean his money doubles? So we get deeper into it. Now the foreign goes into a spiel on how he does not live in America. He's here just to work. Now, to think about that just in that context, I'm like, okay, he probably just over there to work. He don't live here, but where did he live at? But he explained he lives in his truck. To give y'all a backstory, the African guy lives in his truck. He works so much of whatever time is his desire, and then he goes back home to Africa, and he sends his money home before he goes home, and his money doubles. Now, do your homework on that. I don't know what they dollar is versus here, but his money doubles when he goes back home. So if the American driver makes $1,500 and the African guy makes $1,500, the African takes his shit home and it doubles, and it's more money in Africa. So they get to talk. He was like, what you mean your money doubles? He was like, I send my money home, so this amount of money. He gave a specific amount, but I don't remember the details. He said, yeah, I can make this over here and then go home and it's this much. And he goes, so you don't even live here? He's like, no, I live in my truck and I'm here on some type of a visa. I don't know my education on what that might have meant, but I do know about the work visas and stuff. But he said he's over here on a visa. He does not live here. He lives in Africa. He has a home and his wife and kids are in Africa, and he's just here to make money and send it back home. Pissed the white guy clean off, because I guess when he said that, he proved his point to him of, hey, you over here pulling cheap freight and taking the opportunity for us to make change in our income, and you're pulling cheap freight and you're sending it home just because it doubles. And I'm like, I can't be mad at the white guy, because the white guy's like, you know what I'm saying, like, you cutting us and making this industry not really change because they got y'all to do it, but you don't live here. This isn't affecting you. And I was like, okay, that's a pretty good point. That's a pretty decent point. And the African was like, I have a right to work here. The American government gave me a this and that to work here. I have a right just like you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, can't be mad at this guy. He found a gold mine and he's exploiting this, so I can't be mad at him. So it's like, damn. So they get to going on back and forth on why he shouldn't do it, why he should. And then it steered from the conversation. It steered from the conversation to, now it's F you, and you shouldn't be doing this, blah, blah, blah. And they talking to each other like this. Remind you, they own an operator, so it's not going to affect them if they have to go find somebody else to pull freight for. But I couldn't talk like that, you know what I'm saying? I'm a company driver. They'd get you in HR quick than a mug. So they talking like that, blah, blah, blah. Now he's like, F you, man, you need to get your stuff. You need to go home. Yeah, you know, you can't drive trucks in Africa. Go do it over there, blah, blah, blah. And now it's becoming to a point in the conversation where somebody's going to say something about race, and, you know, feel like somebody been holding their tongue back a little bit about certain things. So it's like, man, but at that company that night, boy, I was like, I can't take nobody's side, because I hear both sides of this story. I hear both sides. You know, this African, he's working for his family. He's coming over here. He's taking whatever work he can get. Whether the Americans think the freight is cheap or not, he gonna take it, because when he go back home, the freight, the money doubles. Now when the American man, the white man goes to work, he like, man, if I make $1,500, I'm getting taxed on this, and then I gotta save more than you do, blah, blah, blah. I get both sides. I don't know if y'all have any input on that, but that was my story on how a great conversation of just fellow truck drivers turned into a heated argument, and they wanted to throw blows. They both pushed back their chairs because it was like, F you, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hey, y'all ain't got to really get into all this, but at the same time, y'all grown. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna stop y'all from fighting in here. Y'all got your own opinion, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, give me y'all opinion on that. Who y'all think was wrong? Do y'all think both of them had a point? Do y'all think they both was wrong? Do y'all think that the rate of freights affects both individual sides like that? What do y'all think? You know, holla at me.